What's up, you guys? I'm Cody, and today I'm going to show you how to get your music on Spotify playlists. Now, really quickly, I just want to talk about why Spotify is so important. There are tons of music streaming platforms out there, but Spotify really has become the industry standard. Whether you're looking to hire a manager, book a show, or send your music to a record label, they all want to see your Spotify numbers. They don't care about your Instagram followers or your Facebook likes. Spotify has really become the new social media in a sense, and that's what everybody's looking for. So it is so important that your Spotify numbers are strong, you have lots of monthly listeners, lots of streams, and that you're active on there. Now, what are Spotify playlists and how do they help you? Well, there are a few different types of playlists on Spotify. There are people's personal playlists. Some of mine include summer jams, chill vibes, or pump some iron. But the other type is Spotify's curated playlists. These come in two forms. One of them is editorial. This is where the people from Spotify put music in a playlist with other music that they see fit. The other one is algorithmic. Now, this is entirely based on formulas and it helps Spotify get the right music to the right listeners. These include your release radar, your Discover Weekly, and your daily mix. Now, why are these playlists so important? Well, this is how Spotify gets your music into the hands of the right listeners. Spotify's algorithmic playlists are constantly looking into what music listeners like and what new music they might be interested in. Now, to show you just how important these playlists are, I'm going to show you an example from my own band. Now, this is the most recent song that my band put out. We released this May 11th, 2019, and since then it has done 69,000 streams. It has been featured on 988 playlists, some of which are listeners' personal playlists, others which are Spotify curated playlists. Now, if you look at just these top 4 playlists, 2 of these are algorithmic and 2 of these are editorial. And these make up for about 35,000 streams just on their own. That means half of our streams on this song are from Spotify curated playlists. 58% of our streams in the past 28 days have come from listeners' personal playlists, and 35% of our streams have come from algorithmic playlists. This makes up nearly all of our streams over the past month. That's how important not only Spotify playlists are, but also listener playlists as well. Alright, so the number one way to get featured on a Spotify playlist is smash the like and subscribe button down below. Just kidding, but seriously, it helps my channel more than you know, so if you could just take 1 second and go click those buttons, that'd help me so much. Now, it's incredibly easy to apply to get your music submitted to these Spotify playlists, but you need to do it before your song goes live on Spotify. Now, in order to submit a song to Spotify, you need to do it a minimum 1 week in advance before the song is released. I personally recommend 3 to 4 weeks as a minimum. This way it gives you lots of time to fill out all the information and for the Spotify editors give your song a listen. If you are in a pinch and needing to do this within the week, that probably means that your release isn't fully planned and you should maybe take a step back and think about how you're going to put this music out to the world. I see a lot of bands record music and sit on it for so long and finally they just say, well, maybe we should just put it up. And that's not going to be what's best for the music. If you want as many people as possible to listen to it, you really need to think about how you're going to do it. Now, if a release strategy is something you'd like to see, be sure to comment down below, and that's definitely a video I could do for you. The first thing you're going to have to do is claim your Spotify artist page. You can do this after you've uploaded your first song, but you'll want to make sure you do it once again before your song goes live, because once it goes live, you cannot submit it to be playlisted. If you haven't yet uploaded your music to Spotify, there's a link in the description on exactly how to do that using DistroKid. DistroKid is one of Spotify's preferred providers. They're going to give you a link and make it super easy for you to claim your account. The Spotify artist page is incredibly addicting. I check it every single day to see whether our streams are going up or down, but it's so crucial to have this information to help you grow. Now, once you have uploaded your music through a provider like DistroKid and have claimed your Spotify for Artists account, your dashboard will look something like this. Now, under the Music tab, select Upcoming Releases and click Submit a Song to get your song heard by the editors. Now, you can only do this for 1 song at a time, so it's very important that you choose wisely when you're going to release songs and which song you're going to choose to be heard by Spotify editors. The information that needs to be filled out is pretty self-explanatory, but it is very important that you fill it out as accurately as possible. The Spotify editors sort through tons of music every single day, and if you miscategorize your music, they won't send it to the right playlists, if any at all. Most importantly, make sure that you're selecting the right genre of music. This may be tough for artists, especially if this is your first release. My suggestion is always ask around. Show your music to a few people and ask them what style of music they think it is. Let's say your music falls under the rock genre. From there are a ton of other subcategories that you can pick. Now, these ones are the most important. This is really where Spotify will help put you in the right playlists. Now, the rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory, whether it be mood, instrumentation. Just make sure that you're filling out everything as accurately as possible, and be realistic about it too. After that is the Tell Us More page. From there, they're just really looking to find out where you're located and hear a little bit about the song. Now, the description for the song is super important. Not only do they want to hear what the song's about, but they want to hear your plan for how you're going to share it with the world. Now, you're only limited to 500 characters, but it's very important that you specify your marketing plan for this song. Now, I know some of you may not have a very detailed release plan, but that's okay. Tell them exactly what you're going to do, how you're going to share it, whether that's through social media, through a release tour, or maybe you've reached out to a PR company for a little bit of help. Now, self-marketing is something that's fairly easy to do. It's just a matter of reaching out to the right people. And if that's something you'd like me to make a video on, be sure to let me know. Now, once you've submitted that, it's a little bit of a waiting game to see whether or not Spotify picks up your song. They tend to update their playlists every Friday, and they'll send you an email if they decided to put one of your songs in their playlists. Now, another very important step before you do submit your song for Spotify playlists is to really help Spotify be able to help you. And what I mean by this is have your Spotify page up to date. And what I suggest you do is do some research from some of the bigger artists in your genre. Let's go ahead and look at Billie Eilish, for example. She's one of my favorite artists, and she's massive. She has a great marketing team behind her, and according to Spotify, she's the second most listened to artist in the world. She has a big, bright, colorful banner. There's lots of photos of her. Her biography has been completely filled out, and there's links to all of her social media. This is the kind of stuff that Spotify needs from you in order to get you playlisted. If you don't have any of this filled out, the chances of them picking up your song is very unlikely. Spotify is a business as well, and they want to keep listeners on their platform 24/7 if possible. And the way they do that is with your song. Your music is the product that they're trying to sell to people. So you need to make sure that everything behind that is very presentable and looks as professional as possible. Now, something else that can help you get on these Spotify curated playlists is by your music being on other people's playlists. So what I recommend is when your song first comes out, ask all of your friends, all of your fans, all of your family to add their songs to your playlist and to put it at the very top. Now, this might not seem like a lot, but it will add up so fast. Spotify wants to see that people are saving your song, liking your song, and adding it to their playlists. As I mentioned, Spotify relies heavily on algorithms to help listeners find new music. So if they see that other people like your music and are adding it to their playlists, they're going to show it to even more people, and the growth will be exponential. Now, another thing you can do to help get more traction is reach out to other people with playlists. They don't have to be the biggest playlist on Spotify, but as I said, anything helps. Look for some playlists with a bit of a following that have music similar to yours in it, and simply reach out to these people and ask if they'd be interested in featuring your song somewhere in their playlist. Now, growing your Spotify following does take time. It's not going to just happen overnight, and it's not just going to happen with your first song. But as you release more music, whether that be single 1, 2, 3, 10, as long as you're active on your Spotify account and keeping up to date with everything, Spotify will keep putting you in better and better playlists as you reach more fans and have more monthly listeners. Now, a few extra things to think about. If you are releasing an album or an EP, you only get to select one song off of each release. So what I often recommend is spread that out through many singles. Let's say you have a 5-track EP. It doesn't hurt to put out 3 singles first and try to get all of those submitted to Spotify playlists. And then when the album comes out, you can select one more song. That way, 4 of your 5 songs have a chance on being on Spotify curated playlists. This is a great way to use one release to help build your Spotify following even faster. Another thing to keep in mind is that Spotify has a certain quality level that they need to maintain. So it's important to think about your recording quality before you even start working on the track. Are you working with a professional producer and mixing engineer who's going to be able to give you the best product possible? You could have the best song in the world, but if the recording isn't very good, Spotify is not going to pick it up and nobody's going to want to listen to it. So make sure that you put the time and money into having a good recording. Now, another issue that I see with a lot of musicians is they have way too long of songs. If you look back at pop music over the past 30 years, the average song length is about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And there's a reason for that. People don't have a very good attention span at all. So you may want to have a minute-long intro in your song and a minute-long outro, and it may be this massive 7 or 8 minute song. But not only are new listeners going to lose attention within the first minute, Spotify editors aren't going to want to listen all the way through to find the best part. So make sure you keep your song short and sweet for the best chance at getting picked up by a Spotify playlist. Now, when your song does get picked up by a Spotify editorial playlist, they might give you a personalized link to this. A lot of times a playlist will only show 100 songs in it, but they'll have a back catalog of 300, 400, 500 songs within that playlist. And they're going to cater that playlist to each listener. So what you want to do is make sure you share that personalized link on all of your social media platforms and get people to click it. This way, your song will be featured number 1 in the playlist. It'll also show Spotify that you're working hard and people are listening to your music. Make sure to tell everybody to save your song within that playlist as well to help boost your results. Now, one thing that I do quickly want to mention that I've seen all over social media is buying onto Spotify playlists. I see ads all the time of playlists that say for a low monthly fee, you can be featured on their playlist in the top 10, top 5, top 2. And my biggest advice is don't do it. It's not worth it. First of all, it's against Spotify's terms and agreements, and these playlists can be shut down at any time. And secondly, a lot of their numbers are fake. It may say their playlist has 1,000 followers or 100,000 followers. A lot of times these numbers are artificially inflated, and they don't actually have that many followers. So not only is it not worth your money, but it's not worth your time and effort to be working on getting your music in these pay-to-play playlists. Just don't do it. Anyways, I hope this information has been super helpful. If you think I've left anything out or have any questions, be sure to comment down below. If you have any ideas on future videos you'd like to see from me, be sure to let me know. But I'm gonna get back to my coffee. Have a great day.